Good morning. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I wanted to take a brief moment this morning and discuss identity work, okay? So for those that are new to identity, it's identity work in general. Basically, the way that I'll sum it up is that identity work, I'm working out too, so I may be a little out of breath, so you gotta excuse me. But this just dropped in my spirit, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But identity work, the way it works is we have a belief about who we are called to be, or a belief about who we think that we are. And when we go out and we set goals and we have big visions for our life, sometimes that identity work becomes really challenging, because if we're like, well, I'm just called to be an employee from 9 to 5, because that's after all what I went to school for. That's what everyone in my family does. But then you feel this tug and this pull to maybe start your own business. Then you're going to feel like conflicting with your identity. You're going to be like, I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be at this point. And it can be really overwhelming. So one thing that I have done is I've started to do identity work with my clients. And what I mean by that is I want you to think about like your big objective, your big goal, your big like vision for your life. And when you think of that big goal, that big vision, that big objective, and that thing you want to accomplish, I want you to take it a step further. And I want you to think about what characteristics, behaviors, patterns, routines, all those things that you have that align with that, okay? Then I want you to think about the decisions, the behaviors, the patterns, the routines, the thoughts that don't align with that. The reality is we are creatures of habit, and our life is a reflection of the sum of all of our decisions, right? So if every day you're telling yourself, I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur, I know I'm supposed to be an entrepreneur, but you wake up and you put all your energy into work, and then you get home and lay on the couch and watch Netflix and tell yourself, nope, I can't be an entrepreneur, I just don't have time. Guess what? You won't be an entrepreneur. But on the flip side, if you're like, you know what? Entrepreneurs work around the clock. So even when I get off my 9 to 5, I'm working in the morning, I'm working in the evening, and I'm going to put in the work because that's my identity. I know at the core of it, I'm an entrepreneur, right? So this is why it's important to identify your objective, but more importantly, to identify characteristics around it. And I'll give you guys a very tangible example. When I wrote my very first book, I would tell myself all the time, I, Dr. Nicolia, am a best-selling author. Now, interesting thing, I wasn't a doctoral student and I wasn't a best-selling author, but I kept telling myself, because at the core, I believed I could be both of those things. I believed I could be a best-selling author. I believed I could be a doctoral student and graduate and have my doctorate degree. So even at the time, even though my life didn't reflect it, I constantly reminded myself of that. But more important than just affirming it, I started to ask myself, okay, so what would a doctoral graduate do? Somebody with a doctorate degree do? Oh, they might wake up early. Oh, they may sacrifice. Oh, they may work really hard. They probably do research and read. What would an author do? They probably spend a lot of time writing. They probably write around the clock. They probably put time aside to focus on their writing. They probably give up things that aren't leading them closer to their goals. They probably are more, transparent because they're having to share pieces of their story. They probably put themselves out there. They may look at and review different books, or a doctoral student may look at and review colleges. So I started to ask myself what identity matched the identity that I wanted to have. And then more importantly, I didn't just ask myself this and list it. I asked myself that and committed to it. Meaning I started to say, how can I show up as a doctoral student? How can I wake up early? How can I sacrifice? How can I make this a priority? How can I do my research? How can I understand my audience? How can I be more confident? How can I be more transparent? And the more I started to implement them, because we're creatures of habit, the more it just became a part of my routine. And before you know it, because I started to implement these things, my identity started to match my objective. And in turn, I got closer and closer and closer to I finally was able to accomplish it. So here's the thing. If you're constantly telling yourself that, well, that's for so-and-so, or I can't do this, your life is going to reflect that. Our life is a reflection of our decisions as well as our beliefs. So if you want to change the outcome of your life, you got to change the outcome of your decisions. You got to change your beliefs. You got to change all of that to be able to accomplish what you know that you desire to accomplish. So what I'm going to challenge you to do today is I'm going to challenge you to take a moment and think of, what is your big objective? Right? What is the big thing that you want to accomplish with your life? What is the big thing that you know that you're called to do? Then I want you to think about what part of your identity matches that. What part of your identity aligns with that? And then more importantly, how you can do more of it. Then I want you to think of what part of your identity, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions, your routines, and your habits don't match that, and how you can remove those or replace those to align further with your big objective, okay? So remember, it's not just thinking about it, but it's actually taking the next step to take action. So I challenge you to join me on that. And let me know below, like, what part of your identity are you wanting to make adjustments or shifts with to be able to align with that? And here's the thing. I know a lot of people feel like that feels fake, or I feel like a fraud or imposter syndrome, where I'm walking around and pretending that this is me when it's really not, but it's not. Because at the core, you don't have that dream by accident. I believe our dreams are in our spirit, because it's like a GPS system that's like, hey, this is what you want to do. Hey, this is what your body is calling for. And the more your body calls for it, the more you ignore it, the more you feel this like pull and tug, and you just feel out of alignment. Don't get stuck in that phase. Like, it's not by accident that you feel that way. So why keep blowing it off like it's just going to go away? Or even worse, like the goal is just going to land in your lap. Start taking action, consistent, strategic action towards it, so that you can accomplish it. So let me know what part of your identity that you'd like to adopt. And I'm going to challenge you to do something even better. Start identifying yourself as that. So start saying that you're an entrepreneur. Start saying that you're an author. Start saying that you're a course creator. Start saying that you're all the things that you know that you're called to be. Speak that over your life. Affirm that over your life. More importantly, believe that over your life and implement that into your life. If you're looking for more support on the goal setting journey and really stepping into who you know that you're called to be, and just getting that support, those strategies, the tools that you need to make it happen, then sign up using the link below to get a totally free call with me, where we can talk about how I can step in and support you with really bringing your vision to life. Trust me when I say you should not be living a life full of limits or lack or anything like that. This is your opportunity to step in to the identity of who you know you're called to be, to start making those changes that align with that, and to start to really design and create and live out a life that you deserve, desire, and more importantly, a life that you love.